Welcome back to the TCO studios. Vikings game plan continues. This is the winning formula. Paul Allen, Wabi, Ron Johnson. Very happy to be joined by Master Tesfatsion. He used to write for the Star Tribune, also worked with the Washington Post covering Kirk Cousins. Now he's with Bleacher Report. Learn more about his work via Twitter at Master Tez. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate the invite.
For you, what was the best part of the win against Green Bay?
For me, it was how they were able to contain Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's obviously the best quarterback in the game, and when you're able to see him get out of the pocket and scramble, that's when he's the most dangerous. And the Vikings did a good job of bringing pressure with 4 sacks, containing him to under 200 yards. I think he had 198 passing yards, utilizing his strength of getting him outside the pocket, but making sure he was always on the run. It was never, ever comfortable, either if he was outside the pocket or inside the pocket. I thought that was the most impressive thing.
Ron?
Yeah, for me, Dalvin Cook. I mean, we saw a healthy Dalvin Cook. You saw the speed. You saw a little bit of the power when he caught the screen out the backfield.
Yep.
I'm hoping as this offense continues to evolve, because I don't think we've seen everything DeFilippo can do, that becomes a piece of it. Dalvin spread out a receiver, running some tunnel screens with him, because we know Stephon Diggs can run tunnel screens, but Dalvin is a natural running back. You put him out there and expect a DB to tackle him. Good luck.
And speaking of Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. Diggs and Thielen. Targeted 20 times in the game, 16 catches, 202 yards. And they each scored. And if you look at the 2 Green Bay games for the Vikings and what Diggs and Thielen did to the Green Bay secondary, I think it bodes well for not just the rest of the season, but future Vikings-Packers matchups. I think Green Bay's going to have a hard time with these 2 receivers, and I know that they've invested in their secondary with young corners who are pretty good, but I loved the high percentage plays with Diggs and Thielen from Cousins.
So now Master says Aaron Rodgers, best quarterback in the NFL. We see a pretty good one this game in Tom Brady. What, Master, you first? The number 1 item on the to-do list to slow Tom Brady?
Interior pressure. So he's not feeling comfortable and can step in and allows the outside guys to come in. And the thing with Tom Brady is once he steps up in that pocket, he's able to get the ball out real quick. And it's going to be hard for those guys, the defensive ends, to try and bring that pressure out there.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I'd say the other key to that, though, is if you look at the Tennessee Titans game, they only had 40 rushing yards. That was his lowest total of the season, and they lost it a pretty bad loss. So you have to make Tom Brady, it sucks to say this and weird to say it, make him one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Make him have to pass, then you can get the pressure. And then the other key, honestly, you have to pay attention to where Cordero Patterson is. They love to use him in a number of facets of this offense to just get him the ball in his hands. Pay attention to where he's at, and that'll give you some keys to what they're going to do with this offense.
I think the Vikings are also going to have to be able to run the ball in this game as well, to not be one-dimensional, to not be predictable. So I think we're going to talk about Tom Brady and Kirk Cousins and Josh McDaniels and John DeFilippo, but the running game is going to matter in this matchup.
Consistency with Kirk Cousins. Bad game against Chicago, lights out against Green Bay. What are some keys for him to stay consistent?
I think as he continues to get more familiar with the situation, he is someone that's so routine-based by week to week. And I know it's a very cliche thing to say, but with Kirk Cousins, that's the way he operates. And his history shows in the second half of the season, he does a lot better. And as he continues to get more comfortable with the environment that he's in, I think he's going to continue to be a great quarterback. And I think this year he sold me, actually, because I was expecting him to come off to such a slow start this season because that's typically been the case for him. But he came in this new environment, a new team, new organization, new playbook, and he was able to get off the ground and was able to take some chances that he typically didn't in Washington. There's a level of comfort that he already has here that I think he can build off of. And I would tell Vikings fans, I think everything's going to be okay with him. I think what you've seen so far from him and the growth that he's made, he's gonna continue to strive in that kind of direction.
I agree with
nice.
Yeah, I agree with that. And we talk about the quarterbacks so much in this league, and for good purpose. It's a coach and quarterback league, but you have to play well around the quarterback. And that was probably the offensive line's best game against Green Bay. I mean, there were 2 sacks allowed. One of them was a bad miscommunication.
Correct.
So it wasn't really poor play. It was miscommunication.
Correct.
I mean, Kirk dropped back 40 times in the game and was sacked twice. I think you take that ratio the rest of the way.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins can be consistent. I think, like he said, it's getting comfortable. I saw a guy in Peyton Manning for 2 years as a coach that every day he got an opportunity to throw extra passes with the receivers. He did it. And I'm not talking about Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. I'm talking Pierre Garçon. I'm talking Austin Collie, Blair White. I mean, he was going to get every guy that was going to play. He was throwing 15 to 20 additional balls to those guys because he wanted to learn everybody. That's the reason why Brandon Stokely, Reggie Wayne, and Marvin Harrison all had 10 touchdowns in one season because he's like, I don't care who I'm throwing it to. You're all, I know how you all going to run your routes. So Kurt's going to have to become cerebral in that and knowing every single guy's route. Like once he learns those guys' movements and how they run their routes, he's going to be a lot better because he's throwing a lot of balls as if it's Adam Thielen and everybody doesn't run the routes the same way.
In the area of growth, I will say that throw that he made to Thielen, that was an incredible catch that Thielen made. That was a level of trust that I did not see from Kirk Cousins consistently in Washington that I've seen a whole lot more in Minnesota. And that's where I think, as you mentioned, the growth is going to continue because that is a throw he would have never made in Washington. But he makes it here because he has a level of trust and comfort that has been displayed all season with Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. And that's why I feel comfortable knowing that he's going to continue to grow in that area. And if they make a playoff push, I think that confidence will continue to build up until that point in January.
Master Tesfatsion, Bleacher Report at Master Tez, T-E-S, via Twitter. Wabi, Ron Johnson, Paul Allen, TCO Studios, Vikings Game Plan. Thanks for watching.